That's a big one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm over on Maryland's eastern shore today. It's I think spring officially begins 3 days from now, and one of the rites of passage for spring is the yellow perch run here on our Chesapeake Bay tributaries. The upper, the upper tidal portions, all the yellow perch come up here and they spawn, and it's mid-March, and we're gonna go catch a bunch of yellow perch. I'm starting with, this is a mini umbrella rig by Yum. Let's see, Yumbrella ultralight tripod. So I'll give that a shot in the chartreuse color. Another lure that I got that I'll try out. This is a little twin tail that I injected myself with the Do It Soft Baits mold, and that's a walleye jig head. I also poured that on a Owner 5318 hook, nice sharp sticky little hook. And then this is another lure that I made. That's a crappie spinner, again with the Do It mold and soft plastic I put on there. So we'll give these a shot. I came out here earlier in the year, really end of February a couple times, trying to avoid that scenario where, the perch come in and you talk to people and they say, oh yeah, should have been here yesterday. We hear that a lot. And a lot of times people miss the run when they come in a little bit early and they do what they do and they leave. But this has been a particularly rough winter. And it's rearing its ugly head again today with some snow. But I do have some good intel from my friend Sean that they're in. So, but we'll run up here, give some of these lures a try in some of the deeper holes. I think it's been warmer the last few days, but this has certainly been a cold blast. I'm going to look for these perch to pull back into the deeper spots. I am using my depth finder today to kind of make sure that they're home, but the most important thing is just good intel, just finding out from someone who's been out that, yep, they are here, they're here right now, go get them, and I've got that. Alright, got the first one on on that little twin tail. I had been throwing the umbrella, and I threw the spinner bait, the little guy, the little crappie spinner, but thought that I wasn't getting any bites. I was marking fish here and there. Thought, all right, I gotta slow it down, put it on bottom, and just swimming it just very slowly across the bottom. Reel down, slow, kind of glide, let it go back to the bottom. Sometimes I'll shake it, just kind of quiver the rod as it's gliding. There, another one tapped it. I think I found him. That was just sitting, absolutely sitting on the bottom. That's one worth keeping. Yeah. Hello there. Oh. Yeah, not moving at all. And I think because it's cooled down so much, in the last 24 hours. I bet you these fish were a lot active, yesterday when my buddy was out here. I bet they were probably chasing a little bit, but that one hit was just absolutely sitting on bottom. Little, I don't know, inch and 3/4 split tail soft plastic 16th ounce head. Now I've been catching them on probably every 5th or 6th cast, letting it on the bottom, but I think what I want to do is to suspend it right above the bottom. So I'm putting this little float there. That area right there is about 4 to 5 feet, 4.5, 4.2. So I'm measuring out, that's about 3.5 or so. That's where I'll put the bobber on. So for bobber fishing a, you know, it's very similar to smallmouth fishing, float and fly. You want to have those longer rods. This rod that I've got is a 7'6" medium light St. Croix. Just allows me to swing it out there a little bit easier. I came up on this close to talk about the language of the bobber, how it's laying in the water. That right there tells me that the jig is on the bottom. So, and if we look at the depth finder here, I'm up in 3.2 feet. So if you're finding it looks a certain way, it's a little bit different. I don't know. If you watch a bobber long enough, you'll understand when it's a fish, when it's laying on bottom, when it's caught up on a stick. You're really just monitoring what that bobber looks like at all times. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the bobber, because I'm up near this bridge piling. I was getting some hits, and I caught 2 of my fish up close to the bridge piling where it's a little bit shallower. I'll just take that and slide it down about, I don't know, 12, 14 inches. It's going to make it easier to cast too, which is nice. Alright, I'm going to experiment a little bit. Since I was getting more fish on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and take that bobber off. I'm also going to fish it on a head that's more suited for the bottom, which is that football head. And I'll change up the color to chartreuse, see if that makes any difference. Alright, I've experimented with my retrieval speed. I've experimented with color, and I've experimented with depth, and I just got 2 on 2 consecutive casts, going back to with the lure that I started with, doing what I started doing this morning right when I got here. That little twin tail and the walleye jig head, just letting it sit there. It's like I'm smallmouth fishing, dead sticking. Whatever, it works. That's a big one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Hello, big perchy. 11.5 incher. Nice one. Oh, fat. Heavy you are. Let go of my jig. Let go. Still need that. So for the past half hour, 40 minutes, it's been one after the other. Every cast I got a fish. Some nice ones like this, and some smaller ones I chucked back immediately. Surprisingly, what was going on here was just a gravelly flat with a little bit of current rolling on it. So they weren't there because it was current protected. I'm thinking that's the sort of area, the right kind of gravelly substrate that they want to spawn on. Just a guess, but whatever it was, they were all clustered in one spot. And almost as soon as I found it, as abruptly as I started catching them on every cast, that's as quickly as it shut off. So I'm gonna move on, see if that school has moved elsewhere. All right, didn't move very far to find this one. A little bit further upstream. Just a slight shift, I'm back on them. All right, last one of the day. It's been a good one. Well, that was a lot of fun. I think I ended up with about 5 or 6 dozen fish. Most of them came in a, about an hour and a half period. And it seemed as though it was really important that I get my lure to sit on the bottom. None of the moving lures seem to be producing. I imagine if we have warmer weather here soon, they'll get even more fired up. Although in that one spot they were pretty fired up. They just preferred the bait on the bottom. And you just got to experiment with it and see what they want to eat. And that's what I started with. And I tried other stuff and went back to it, and that was pretty much it. So that little twin tail, 1.5 inch, 1 3/4 soft plastic I made with the Do It Soft Baits mold on the 16th ounce walleye jig. Again, one I made myself with the Do It mold. So it's fun when they're here. A whole lot of fun.